Alright, howdy Miata fans. Love your Miata, hate the horn because nobody gives it any respect. I had the same problem. So, got a better horn. Question is, where is it? How do you hook it up? Alright, first question, where? Well, on first and second gen, I know it's mounted right here in the front, in front of the radiator. So, what do? Take off this bolt, unplug it in there, one wire is going into it, and you can actually remove these, and this flexes a good amount so you'll be able to take out the bracket. And if you go to Miata.net, the fella here, Eric, very kindly, unselfishly put down these directions here. Now I have the exact same horn that's shown in here, that's why I followed it. Likely if you have a similar horn with the same hookup setup of a positive and negative, you're going to probably be able to do this. So, as you can see, it's a nice second gen, very similar to mine. Shows you a step-by-step tutorial of how to put it in. And he was able to use the original power, hookups, original fuses, didn't have to do any much of the way of modification to the wiring. And it just hooks up and works as normal through the car horn on the steering wheel. Now, the one thing that got part tricky is he flipped around the brass bracket, or nickel coated, whichever, that was originally hanging down and hooked up to the little horn, flipped it around and drilled a hole in the steel bit. I used an 11/32 bit, and that pretty much made a hole about exactly as this and made the bolt that came with the horn go through no problem. He cut it down. I didn't because he couldn't get a socket in. I used an open-end wrench and was able to go to either side here and just tighten it down. It's like, well, that's going to take a while. Well, either you use time cutting a bolt or you use time tightening a nut. Your choice. So, make a grounding wire. He didn't say anything about the size. Make sure it's insulated. I made sure to look for weatherproof ones with a nice plastic coating, so it's going to get awfully wet underneath here and hot. And so, I use 16 gauge wire. Made sure to do the according 16 gauge connectors. You're going to need wire strippers, wire crimpers, highly recommend. And then you can hook up that wire of the grounding, which will connect to the negative terminal underneath, and hook it up to the bolt that came with it. Make sure to tighten it down good. Make sure this is tightened down good. Now, he said he was able to use the original power cord and it reached the bottom. I was not able to. I had to fabricate an extension, which wasn't any more difficult than making that. So, put it in the power, put it in the ground, tighten it all down. And if we can give you a nice good eye view, it's pretty tight fit in there. And once it's tightened down, I'm pretty sure it's not going to smack into the radiator. So I don't want to give myself an additional project. And it's like, well, what does the Wolo horn sound like? A lot louder. Now, the way you do this one, the benefit of this, as Eric pointed out, is the idea is if you want to undo it and go back, say somewhere down later, this is melting the wires, this is blowing fuses, this is busting into the radiator, this is shaking loose, whatever. Very easily just take the bracket, turn it around, put the horn back in, plug it back in, and you're back to the old horn that you just despised. So, I hope I covered it well, and hope this helps out all those people who are frustrated with the horn and trying to figure out how to do it. And good Miata-ing.